Alright guys, today we are going to take a look at the England versus South Africa game that is taking place at Twickenham on Saturday. So let's go through the England squad here. So number 1 you have Rod, number 2 you have Blamir, and number 3 you have Sinclair, and number 4 you have Maro Itoje, and number 5 you have Johnny Hill, and number 6 you have Courtney Lawes, who's the captain today for England, and number 7 you have Sam Underhill, and at number 8 we have Tom Curry. And number 9 is Ben Youngs, and number 10 is Marcus Smith, number 12 is Manitou Alangi, and number 13 is Henry Slade. At number 11 is Johnny May, and number 14 is John Marchand, and at number 15 is Freddie Stewart. And on the bench, at number 16 you have Dolly, number 17 you have Marler, number 18 you have Stewart, and number 19 you have Yules, and number 20 you have Sam Simmons, number 21 you have Dom Brandt, and number 22 you have Quirk, and number 23 you have Malins. So that is the England team. So obviously I think Jamie George got injured last week, so he's not starting today. You have Blamir starting instead of him. It's a very good England team. I don't know much about Rod. Has he played for England a lot? But I'm not too sure about that. But it's a very good sort of, everyone knows how good Kyle Sinclair was. He got into the Lions team and ended up starting, I think, for the Lions. And then you've got Maro Itoje and Johnny Hill are also Pershires Lions, and so was Tom Curry, who's playing 8, who's normally a 6 or a 7. Well, normally a 7, but he's been playing 8 for England recently. And then you've got the experience of Ben Youngs along with the flair and the pure potential of Marcus Smith, with Manitou Alangi playing in a much more familiar position to him this week than he was last week. And Freddie Stewart has been really good at 15 for England so far this series. So that's the first team. Some very good players there, and a very good team overall, as England pretty much always have. But then on the bench was the finishers, as it's called, for England. You have Dolly, who is he the Leicester hooker, I think. And then you've got Joe Marler there as well, of course. They've done a 6-2 split with Simmons and Dom Brandt. They have 2 number 8s on the bench, which is interesting. You could essentially at one point have 3 number 8s on the pitch if you're counting Tom Curry as a proper number 8. And I guess he probably is now. So yeah, they've gone for a 6-2 split to try and help counteract the bomb squad from South Africa. And so let's move on to the South Africa team. So last week I got told I pronounced all these names wrong. I'm going to pronounce them how I can, and if you can tell me down in the comments below how I pronounce them, if you spell them phonetically, that would really help, but I'm just going to try my best. So number 1 we have Inche, and number 2 we have Imbanambi, and number 3 we have Inyakani, and number 4 we have Etzebeth, and number 5 we have De Jager, number 6 we have Sia Khaleesi, who's the captain, number 7 we have Quagga Smith, and number 8 we have Dwayne Vermeulen, and number 9 we have Comus Reinach, number 10 we have Andre Pollard, number 11 we have Makazole Mapimpi, and number 12 we have Damien De Alinde, and number 13 we have Lucanio Am, and number 14 we have Jesse Creel, and at number 15 we have Willie LaRue. Now on the bench at number 16 is Malcolm Marks, and number 17 is Stephen Kitsoff, number 18 is Vincent Koch, and number 19 is Franco Mozart, number 20 is Jasper Visa, and number 21 is Herschel Yantes, and number 22 is Elton Yantes, and at number 23 is Franz Steyn. So yeah, like last week in my Scotland one, it's a very good team. There's some changes to the team. I don't think De Jager started last week, and Pollard didn't start last week. But it's a very good team. Willie LaRue gets a lot of stick from South African fans. I don't quite know why, because I think he's a really good player and he's really good at marshalling that backfield. But of course they've got De Alinde and Am that in their centre partnership, which is a really strong centre partnership, and the flair of Makazole Mapimpi on the wing. I think scored both of South Africa tries last week against Scotland. Of course you've got the talisman there, Sia Khaleesi, who's going to get into there, make some big hits, and of course you've got that starting front row of Inche and Imbanambi and Inyakani to then come off for Malcolm Marks, Stephen Kitsoff and Vincent Koch. It's not fair that they have that good a front row on the bench and that good a front row starting as well, but those are the 2 teams. So let's move on to predictions. So the bookies have it 5-4 for England and 28-29 for South Africa, which means they're edging South Africa for this game as the favourites of the game. They think that South Africa will beat England at Twickenham, which is a fair prediction to make. They've won all their games in the Autumn Nations series. They are reigning world champions. I'm not sure. I think South Africa might do it. I think England, are probably going to play into South Africa's hands with how they tend to play these games through the forwards. And I think South Africa, you can't beat South Africa at South Africa's game. Australia beat them by playing around them. That's how they won that game. Whereas I think England are going to try and go through them unless Marcus Smith is going to use some magic to get the ball out wide. You never know. So I think South Africa probably will win this game. I think for my personal predictions, I think it will be a very tight game, and I think I'm going to say South Africa to win by 3 points is what I'm going to say for this game. Tell me what you think is going to happen down in the comments below. Tell me if I pronounced any of those names wrong and how I can pronounce them. Leave a like in this video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're around here. As always, guys, have a great day. See ya.